And my scoutmaster one day showed up to one of our, what was it, patrol meetings or troop meetings? I can't remember what you called it. But he showed up one day with holding a record. And it was this one that you're looking at right here, this actual one. And he came up to me and he says, do you have any interest in having this record? And I looked at it and I knew of Black Sabbath. And I think what had happened is I'd heard of them from the heavy metal soundtrack, with Ronnie James Dio, but I didn't know a lot about them other than that song. And so he said, do you want this record? And I said, well, are you sure? And he says, my wife, I've got kids and my wife does not want this thing in our house anymore. Which is so funny looking back on it, like, my wife doesn't want it in our house, so here, put it in your house. Anyway, so he gave this record to me, and I remember taking this thing home, and I was pretty excited because this is, Black Sabbath, and they were, at that point, this would have been in the kind of early 80s, and they were legends. Everybody knew that name, everybody knew who they were, at least had heard of them. So I remember taking this album home, and putting it on the turntable, and it was just kind of this amazing experience, again, that I think many of you probably also had, because you put that thing on, you hear it for the first time, and it comes on and you hear the rain starting, and then you hear that bell in the background, and then you hear that thunder, and it's just kind of this setting this mood of just darkness and eeriness, and then all of a sudden the whole band together, boom, ba, ba, and they do that tritone thing, those three notes that right in that moment when they recorded those things defined an entire genre that would resonate all the way until today. Here we are in 2025, and those three notes still resonate. It started this entire movement, this entire sound that everybody knew as heavy metal, and it was those three notes. Just unbelievable. And then, of course, Ozzy comes in after a few measures with that line, "What is this that stands before me?" And the way he sang it, the whole thing was so amazing. And I remember sitting in my bedroom hearing that for the first time, just thinking that it was just one of the most amazing things I had ever heard.